Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with The Sopranos. Last time around we had Bust Out, where basically there was a witness who saw Tony and Puss take out Matt Bevilacqua, and it was going to be bad. It was going to be pretty bad, namely placing Tony there for the cops. But then, eventually, the witness actually found out who Tony Soprano was and decided to not be a witness, which was a huge relief for Tony. Meanwhile, Dave's wife's brother went to go, do some wallpapering in the Soprano house, and do some wallpapering, if you know what I mean. I mean, you obviously know what I mean, because most likely you watched the last episode. I'd be surprised if you haven't watched the last episode. But anyway, so yeah, he went to try to woo Carmilla, and Carmilla was all for the wooing, but then he figured out who Tony Soprano was and promptly stopped the woo. So, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I mean, most of the episode was Tony freaking out. I mean like more than usual, so yeah. That's that terrible recap over. Yeah, I need to get some caffeine in me so I can talk good and such. So, do I say that every episode? I feel like I say that a lot on this show. So, oh well. With that said, why don't we just go ahead and jump right into this episode of The Sopranos. Here we go. Are we supposed to be doing this? Yep, this is the plan, obviously. Here's some garbage. Bye. Man. They show up, drop a bunch of literal garbage, refuse to elaborate, and leave.
Yeah, you called yesterday to complain? No, that's our policy. It's written on our trucks. Double your garbage back if you're not satisfied.
I complain. What do I owe you, counselor?
You'll pay me when I actually have to do something.
Let's hope that fucking day never comes, right?
Meh.
It almost did very recently. Use one of the businesses we've got you in for something besides showing income on a tax return. Spend time at Garden State Rennery.
Oh, please. You know what boiling fat smells like?
You have an office at Barone Sanitation. Get your ass out of that strip club and go there.
Oh, actually go to work. Go do something legitimate.
Sandwich or something? Did you hear me with my balls? Who can fucking eat?
Meh. Who the hell's that? No one.
Remember, one mouth, two ears, listen to each other.
Oh my god, she has other patients? I love this freaking, like, power stance power seat she's got going. That was a powerful angle she had there. Meh. Should you even write TS on there? I mean, it could be anybody, I guess. Tom Scott. That's all I can think of. Yeah, it seems about right. That's how most women deal with Tony Soprano.
Corrado? I thought that was you. Catherine. Romano.
Catherine.
Mr. Soprano, you have to stay in the wheelchair until you leave the building. Hospital rules.
So call a cop.
Meh.
I gotta call Karen, Ma.
He's a cop now, like his father, a detective.
He's a good egg, yo, Lou. He was a real straight shooter. He had a lot of class.
Maybe we could have coffee. Catch up. There's an IHOP by the dry cleaners.
The doctor says I'm not supposed to leave the house. Too much stress.
Yeah, that's what the doctor says.
The chick.
Damn. She freaking called your bluff, man. Oh. Oh, you're a good boy. He's feisty. Is he just barking at the cameraman? I think he's just barking at the cameraman. That's funny.
Move these boxes out, the books.
What should I do with them?
I don't know. Make room.
Meh.
I'll put them by the copy machine.
Alright.
Nice rack.
Meh.
Born again Christian.
Oh, yeah?
Listen, while
I
have
can
you,
deal with that.
We sat there and we talked about the fucking Rico act.
You were that bored?
You treat different patients.
He was that bored.
2 years ago, I thought Rico was a relative of his.
Meh. You alright? Your hands... You need like a fidget spinner or something?
How's the drink?
I don't know.
Alright, that doesn't sound good.
Worse, I guess.
That sounds even worse.
Alcoholic.
That's what they all say.
Are you taking steps to seriously end it?
He wanted to end it. He said last time he wanted to stop coming, but I talked him out of it.
Why?
What the
If
fuck
I
did
was
you do
at
that for?
Sloan and he had a pituitary tumor, would I stop him from coming?
Oh my god. We can't keep doing this, Melf.
It's like that thing with watching a train wreck. I'm afraid and repulsed by what he might tell me.
Oh yeah.
I don't snore.
Ah, don't be embarrassed. Obstructive sleep apnea is serious. Every time your airway closes down and you wake up fighting for breath, it puts tremendous strain on your heart. Dr. Shrek is absolutely right in prescribing this for you.
Makes me look like a sick man.
You're not sick. But testing
You do
shows that-
somehow look worse than with your giant glasses.
More since I met you. Such a thing to say.
Arousals mean a change in your stages of sleep. You are such a flirt.
Alright, quit
I'll
yelling
stop
at
by
me.
tomorrow, okay? See how you did?
Is this a bad time for a visit?
Actually, the nurse just got here. We're about to have my examination.
Oh. Well, maybe Friday then. I volunteer at the bingo since Louis passed.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Also about your husband, but mainly the bingo.
What'd you send that lady away for? I thought you were bored.
Talking to that dreadnought would help?
She seems all right.
What the hell would we have in common?
Well, you're old.
It's not the landfill, the problem's the limit. Right now we're at $2,000 a day, but with the DOS breaking our balls, I gotta fuck with the ins and outs.
That is a face of I could not care less.
I'm getting engaged myself.
Meh.
Hey, someplace, huh?
Well, alright, so that's just going... That's just happening, alright.
Janice, you're completely transformed. What can I say?
You look good, Janice.
Meh.
Hey, you look pretty good, Janice.
You are a giant asshole, you know?
Come on.
That was like the most genuine sibling talk they've had.
You do it on association garbage routes. It's my fucking business. It stops today. You got it? Don't give me your fucking Manson lamps. Just fucking stop.
Oh no.
Municipalities went private. Now we've been on a landfill.
Turn around. Look outside to the great expanse.
EPA's new guidelines on curbside recycling.
No. No.
Telling you.
Keep it together. Didn't keep it together.
For Christ's sake, I just passed out. If it's nothing physical, then what the fuck is wrong with me?
I would think you would be relieved.
No, I'll be relieved when somebody puts their finger on whatever the fuck it is that's wrong with me.
Meh.
Wish it was something physical so I could have it ripped the fuck out.
I'm sorry. It's just very frustrating. I know you're only trying to help. You know, losing some weight wouldn't hurt.
Bye. Woo. Hey, you wanted something physical.
every paycheck squandered on alcohol.
Please, you know the Irish and their liquor.
Yeah, the weakness, he calls it. Right?
Oh no.
I mean, it's all fucking believable. It's all original World War II shit. You're fucking kidding me.
I know nothing. Nothing.
Meh.
We got Eisenhower's dinnerware from Allied headquarters in London.
We got a couple of Herman Goering's personal pearl-handled Lugers. Get this.
Is there an actual point to this stuff?
The Patton drove around in Sicily. We have ways of dealing with you, Mr. Soprano. Put that thing down. Put that down. It's expensive.
No, I better listen to the lawyer.
Are you sure?
Yeah. You guys go ahead without me.
Aww. But it's so cool. You need friends. I mean, like, maybe more... No, he doesn't do friends very well. He tried that once.
So, how's that English class going?
Oh yeah, this guy.
Comparative literature, whatever?
Her son. This guy.
Excuse me, could you move your cigarette?
Pardon me?
It's blowing into my son's face. Thank you.
We're allowed to smoke.
Unfortunately, an area where New Jersey is woefully behind.
Yeah, we'll fucking smoke
Could
that
you move
way.
it? Look, this is silly. Could you just move the fucking thing?
Not when you talk like that.
Just move this cigarette, please.
She's about to start throwing hands.
No.
No.
Mama!
Well, you bitch.
She must be drunk.
Excuse me, what did you say?
Ma'am, come on. I saw what happened. Let's just, shall we?
Will you call the police?
I don't think that's warranted.
I don't
Ma'am.
think
Oh no,
that
please
was...
call the police because I'm not the one with a lethal weapon here.
Hello. In here. In here. The kitchen.
He's stuck.
Good thing I'm nice, because I could start tickling you.
Jesus Christ. How long have you been standing there?
6 hours!
Duh.
Now get the fucking detergent and lubricate my wrist. Motherfucking son of a bitch.
I mean, that's terrible. He's been there for 6 hours. It's funny, but like,
Why didn't you just call a plumber?
With what? My fucking toe?
he can't reach the phone!
That's it. You're fuck's sake.
This is stupid.
Simmer down.
You're coming to the engagement party at least, right? You'll get special permission?
Look, I'm gonna tell you I don't care.
I guess nobody should eat but him. You should have seen him in the golf outfit. He looked like Wallace Beery.
Where did he get the effrontery?
The effrontery.
Boss. Whether he has grand mals or not.
And this shit is okay with you?
I know how much you love him, Junior. I don't want to say anything disparaging.
Not until you give the okay.
I embarrassed my son. How's he supposed to know where this type of behavior is coming from?
I think it's time you considered a 12-step program.
I'm not an alcoholic, Elliot.
I think that's step
Besides,
one.
I have you, this.
Admitting.
You know, back in the 50s, we worked together. Even rival families settled their differences amicably.
Oh,
Meh.
yeah. I remember that picture of Albert on the stage, lying there all amicable on the barbershop floor.
There were exceptions.
Dr. Cusimano tells me you've been seeing a psychotherapist.
So?
I suggest you talk about stress management with him.
Meh. Alright. I guess his stress was managed.
Was my Lou ever, you know, on the take?
No, of course not. Why would you ask such a thing?
Sometimes, you know, I'd find money. Hundreds of dollars. Cash. In his pockets at night.
Probably won it at the racetrack.
You think so?
Sure, why not? Somebody has to win.
Meh. This is a good thing, saying that.
If we have kids, Ma's house is just not big enough. And like Tony says, it's not our house anyway. Come here, you gotta see this bedroom. You can make a den out of the closet.
This will go well. Richie, what are you wearing?
Oh my God, you're all clammy. Come on, let's get you home.
No. You stay with them and help them, and I'll see you later.
That sounds like a bad idea. I mean, get some fresh air. Just go sit in your car for a bit, you know? Fucking Richie.
Oh, you poor beasties.
Yeah.
Hello.
Corrado?
What the fuck are you doing calling my home?
Now listen, I am the only person in this family who doesn't curse. So just do me the favor. I want to see how you're feeling.
Does she not? I never noticed that.
I'm fine.
And I heard you're keeping company with that Catherine Romano.
Oh, fuck. Never you mind about that.
Ah, she's so sweet. I remember my Johnny told me. She let him feel her up behind the Sons of Italy Hall.
Listen, Olivia, what you don't know could fill a book.
Meh.
Is everything all right?
My brother's wife,
Oh, Olivia. How is she? I heard she wasn't well.
she never was well. Let's face it.
Meh.
That woman's life is very sad.
If she
Understatement of the
suicide,
century.
she'd come up holding a gold watch in each hand. I can't go out. I'm under house arrest.
Oh,
Meh.
my God. Does it hurt?
It beeps.
Meh.
Sends a signal if I leave the house.
You can't go anywhere?
Well, you're
The
taking this
choices
really well.
we make, huh? You stay. I'll bring food in.
That's nice.
I think on the History Channel the other night on the American Revolution. You know we're the only country in the world where the pursuit of happiness is guaranteed in writing? You believe that? Huh? Bunch of fucking spoiled brats. Where's my happiness then?
It's the pursuit that's guaranteed.
Yeah, where's the fucking loophole, right?
Not the actual happiness.
There's a psychological condition known as alexithymia, common in certain personalities. The individual craves almost ceaseless action, which enables them to avoid acknowledging the abhorrent things they do.
Abhorrent? What certain personalities?
Antisocial personalities.
Meh.
What happens when these antisocial personalities aren't distracted from the horrible shit they do?
They have time to think about their behavior.
Oh, yeah.
How what they do affects other people.
Jerry Grail had eczema, and he was out there fighting fire? That's not too smart.
He never was one to let common sense get in the way of whatever he wanted to do.
The question is,
Oof.
what about Chris Newman?
That is snoring. You need the thing. You need those breathe right strips that they make now.
When did you throw it? I didn't even see it throw.
Oh, is Chris out and about?
Oh, a long lost leader. Somebody must owe him money.
Hey, how you doing?
Oof.
How's the clay pigeon?
I'm getting there.
Well, he's out of the hospital, but he's a little stiff.
Sil, go tell him no speeding in the neighborhood. I'm on it. Come on.
What an asshole.
Come on. What the fuck's the matter with you? How many times we gotta tell you do not speed in this fucking neighborhood?
Cazzo fai? Tu non lo sai. Sembra fuorienne, va.
That'll drive the point home. Having a man angrily yell in Italian. You, getting a tan?
Oh, Agent Harry.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good to see you. As in the neighborhood, I want to introduce you to my new partner, Joe Marquez, Tony Soprano. How you doing?
Some out of no openings in the post office.
Meh.
All the smart boys know why. It doesn't mean I didn't try. I just never
This is
know
where he's in his element.
Is the club all alone?
That's literally it. That's his home. That's his natural habitat. More than anything else. It's him, those boys. Even the feds. You just can't get stuck, man. Can't get stuck. I mean, that's an interesting thing, just sort of highlighting it there at the end. It's just, he's just out of his natural environment, you know? Outside of there, where everyone's got their problems, everyone's got an opinion on something, everyone is making trouble. Richie, Janice, Carmilla, Corrado. I'm amazed he didn't have his kids in this one, you know? His kids always cause him grief, but And honestly, Carmilla really didn't do anything, did she? Like, this was the episode where he didn't really deal with his family that much. I mean, he dealt with his family, but not his immediate family, you know? You get stuck and you reflect on what you've done. Tony did it. Junior did it. Melfi did it. Richie just don't care. Richie just doesn't give a crap, you know? I mean, to be fair, Richie may have already done that, you know? Actually, that could be part of it. That could be part of it, is that Richie's gone through all of this because he was in prison, you know? I mean, because you when you stop and you think about that, and it's like, okay, well, if this is what Richie is like after, you know, meditation in prison and stuff for 10 years, what was he like before? But now I think it's literally that Richie is just a more refined version of himself, you know? Where Tony, Melfi, and Junior all aren't yet, you know? Richie has refined himself to his core being, which sounds weird, but, you know, I think that's literally it. I think Richie has refined himself to his true core. He's cut away all the fat, really, you know? He's cut away all the fat, now he's just a lean, mean chaos machine. Tony hasn't done that yet. He's tried, but that's really it. He needs to, in your reflection, I mean, the reflection of yourself, honestly, you might as well just, like, go through the stages of grief, you know? Which, I mean, Tony kind of goes through that, like, eight times a day, you know? But that's kind of it, is to understand yourself and refine yourself to your true self, to trim out all the fat of your problems. You kind of need to go through the stages of grief until you end on acceptance. Richie has accepted who he is. Tony has not, you know? Which is strange, because you'd think he would. You'd think he would have done that by now, but Tony, at his core, like, okay, Tony's core is exactly what we see at the end. It's his natural environment. It's him in charge of his boys, you know, shooting the shit with the feds, you know, and just seeing things work, just seeing this well-oiled machine, you know, sitting there with that checkerboard tablecloth, you know, Paulie's cooking something, Silvio's watching him, Chris and Hesh are talking, you know, you got Pussy, you got Furio there, they're looking at a magazine. It's all there, and that's probably why Hesh was also in that scene, you know? Because it wasn't just Tony's immediate crew, but it was everyone he currently trusts, you know? Which that says something, too, because Chris is there, but that is everyone he trusts and relies on, you know? And everyone he can, I guess, sort of understand, everyone he, I guess, just trusts, you know? No one else, there's no one else that he trusts other than that group right there, you know? And that says something, considering, you know, Furio, he's just a guy, honestly. He's just an Italian muscle, but he trusts him, you know? And Chris screws up all the friggin' time, yet Tony trusts him, you know? So, like, it's all, like, that is Tony's core. The problem is, it's him and his crew. The problem is dealing with Junior, or dealing with Richie, or dealing with his family. You know, Carmela has to drag him to something, and then she complains, or his kids are doing something, and they complain, or he has to go to therapy, and it's all, you know, and he has to think about things. You know, he has to try to explain things. You know, he has to reflect on what's wrong with him, or he has to deal with his mother. You know, it's like he has all these different things that he just cannot deal with. But at his core, you know, or even like his legitimate businesses, you know, his legitimate businesses that he is a part of, you know, he tries to go do that, but it's just, but at his core, it's him, it's his crew of people he trusts, and they're just doing their thing, you know? And that's an incredible thing to think about. It's like, that, what we just saw there is the true Tony Soprano, right there, in that scene. So, it's when he could just be himself, you know? More than anything. He didn't have to deal with people. He didn't have to deal with normal people. He didn't have to deal with his family. He certainly doesn't have to deal with Richie. It's just, it's the king in his castle, you know? It's the king in his castle. So, with that, it's an interesting theme for the episode is, you know, literally just being stuck, you know? Being stuck, if anything, just like being stuck in an environment that doesn't suit you, you know? For all of them, this isn't right, you know? For Melfi, she didn't really get her ideal, you know? For Melfi, it's difficult. More so, honestly. For Junior, I think he got there. With Catherine, but even still, he's not quite in his natural habitat, I guess. But it's something, you know. It's almost like he's sort of forged a new habitat there, you know. Like, you know, he's stuck in his house because of the house arrest, you know. But now he's been able to figure it out, you know. He's been able to figure it out. He has a friend who's not just his, you know, fat assistant man that's just useless, you know. So, it's not him. He has an old friend. No matter what Livia, here comes Livia on the phone trying to be like, oh, wow, it's not a good thing, you know, and he's just like, fuck you, and he just hangs up, you know. I remember, James Isaac Neutron. It's just, that's literally what she tried to do, is just break that up, you know, and he's just like, no, I don't care right now, you know, and good for him. You know, good for him. And even if, you know, obviously having to wear that mask when he's asleep sucks, but it's something. But she's there to help him out, you know. She's there to help him out. And I like you. She doesn't question it. I mean, I guess she knew what he was about, you know, because, you know, she said, like, oh, well, was my husband, you know, was he on the take, you know, which, it's an interesting thing. I would imagine he literally just lied about that. It's like, yeah, he probably was on the take, but I like, you know, he's not going to sully her image of her husband, you know, like with no hesitation. He's like, no, of course he wasn't on the take. You got that money from horse track racing, you know, like he's not going to sully that image, even if maybe she knows it, maybe she understands it, but it's not something that he's going to denigrate, basically. I think that's how you say that word. Doesn't matter. Anyway. But now he's carving out a little bit of a new habitat, you know? Now that he's got to stay inside. I mean, you know, it's a funny thing. I saw like a tweet. It was like a screen cap where it was like, oh, if you were challenged to not step 1 foot outside your house for a week for $100,000, could you do it? And there was a reply that was like, I do that anyway. I didn't know there was funding involved, you know? And it's just like, yes, welcome to welcome to the life of an introvert. You know? An introvert could do that. I could do that. I could literally just stay here and not do anything. It's like, I don't know, I would just order DoorDash or something for food. But it's just like, yeah, a week staying inside my house, it's the easiest shit I could ever do. You know? Even if I'm not doing this, which I do anyway, I'll play a video game. You know? I'll play a video game, I'll watch some TV. You know? I'm fine. But now Junior, he's kind of carving that out. He's carving out that new habitat, basically. He's making his home more habitable, you know? A thing that Tony cannot do, you know? A thing that Tony could not do. I guess that's sort of the thing, is that Tony can't create that environment for him, you know? Because every little thing gets in the way. You know, even if he thinks, like, you know, maybe his house, but even still, like, I mean, I feel like that's why, you know, there was the scene with the phone call about all the World War II memorabilia, which I'm not sure why they had that. I guess they're just gonna sell it, but it was interesting. And it's interesting because while he was on that call, he was kind of, you know, regular Tony. Like, he wasn't really depressed, you know, even though he was having to, you know, basically call in saying, you know, he's not going to make it down there. But, I mean, just that little moment, I think that's why they juxtapose it with Carmilla and her friends at their book club. You know, because where Carmilla has this thing, she has friends that she can go and talk to. Tony doesn't have that. Tony feels like an alien in his own house, basically, you know? So, what Carmilla has there in the book club at her house, Tony basically has with the boys at their little office, you know? So that's the thing. It's that is his environment right there. We finally saw it. And then there's Dr. Melfi, who probably made out the worst of all of them in this episode. My goodness. So, she is absolutely an alcoholic now. She can't figure out how to cut Tony loose. And then she had the incident there. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's just, Melfi's starting to spiral now. You know, and this guy, her therapist, is doing the best he friggin' can. I am curious, because they didn't really show too much of, you know, her counseling the others, her other patients. I wonder if she's just, like, completely fine with her other patients, you know? And it's only... I mean, she does say she has to drink between any sessions on a day where Tony is showing up, you know? So, it's, like, pretty much on Tuesday, because I think that's when he has his appointments. It's like every Tuesday, she's just in a bad mood, basically. But she had to know what to do about it. I mean, like, look... I mean, it's the same thing we've talked about this whole show of the, you know, cutting the toxic person out of your life. To her, that is now Tony. The problem is, he was cut out of her life. She taped him back in. And that's the problem. That's the problem, because she feels this, you know, ridiculous amount of guilt if he doesn't, you know, if she doesn't take care of him. You know, it's like, he is not your responsibility. He's not your child, you know? Like, just refer him to another doctor, you know? Like, you should not be having this much guilt about this. So yeah, I don't know. I hope something comes of this, because I'm going to be honest, like, before this episode, I was kind of thinking, like, boy, they really haven't done a lot with Dr. Melfi this season. Like, at the very least, like, I mean, yeah, you know, you have this whole thing of her feeling the guilt and then taking it back, but she's clearly not, you know, dealing with it well. But at the same time, I'm kind of looking at this and it's like, it almost feels like they didn't know what to do with her, per se. Like, they were like, wow, we got to keep Dr. Melfi for another season. It's like, okay, but why? Well, I mean, it's like, it's good for Tony's story, but I don't really see, like, I don't see where we're going with Dr. Melfi's story, basically. I haven't been seeing that. Now I'm seeing a bit more of, obviously, we need to work on Dr. Melfi, but I don't know. I'm curious to see where we're going with that, because that's sort of been the one plot line that's been up in the air for me. But yeah, but still, a very interesting episode, and interesting to see, just the theme of, the reflection on yourself, and looking back, being forced to stop. In Junior's case, literally for 6 hours, he was stuck standing in his kitchen. So, and then, seeing Tony literally reflecting, but then, right at the end, he's back in his natural habitat. He's back where he belongs, basically. It's the place where he can just be him. None of these problems, no nothing, just the core Tony Soprano. So good stuff, and I'm very curious to see where we are going next time. We got 2 episodes left this season, and then we're moving on to season 3. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Sopranos reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.